What was your first rig? My first RPG. First RPG I ever played was Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy. That was the first time I ever experienced something like it. Never had I seen before similar gameplay mechanics. I was 12 years old when I first played it, I think. Yeah, between 12 and 13. And it blew me away, you know, because it was such a unique game that, with gameplay mechanics that I've never seen before. Strong focus on storytelling. And I really like it. I really liked it. I never finished it because I borrowed it from a friend. And after a couple of weeks, he wanted his game back, so I gave it back to him. But still, you know, I don't think I would have finished it because I rage quit in a boss battle late in the game, pretty late in the game against Odin. And I never went back to it. Hopefully one day, we'll see. Do you have a top 10 RPG novels? What are you talking about? Top 10 RPG novels? What? You mean like novels based on role-playing games like this one? Because if that's the question, then no, I don't. I don't have a top 10. Can you suggest me some JRPG similar to Xenogears? Well, apart from the obvious, the same series it belongs to, Xenosaga and the Xenoblade games, Xenogears is a pretty unique game, and depends on what you're talking about. If you want a turn-based RPG, science fiction-ish, with that level of storytelling, you're not gonna find any. I mean, nothing comes close to Xenogears when it comes to storytelling. But yeah, you can find a lot of science fiction RPGs out there. Besides the other Xeno games, you can find all the Star Ocean series. Obviously not the same storytelling, pretty different, you know, but the science fiction elements are there. You go into space and shit. Well, the Trails series, the Trails of Cold Steel arc, which are 4 games, you get a bunch of mech battles, just like in Xenogears. So maybe those. And in case you're interested in science fiction RPGs, I made a Hidden Gems video called Top 10 Hidden Gems Science Fiction JRPGs. Science Fiction JRPG Hidden Gems. Look it up and you'll see some recommendations in there. Do you think a PSP is good? It's a good console to play RPGs on? Yes! A very good console. Very freaking good. Especially, you know, and you said it yourself, with other game emulators. You can play a bunch of PS1 games in there. Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo. I mean, come on, man. The PSP was the biggest emulation machine when it came to video game consoles back then. The PS Vita succeeded it, and succeeded greatly. But now it's the Steam Deck. But back then the PSP was the king. What is your favorite game to play on Halloween? Oh, I kind of stopped caring about that a long time ago. I do care about Halloween, and I do like it, and I dig it. And I've done videos on Halloween. I think I remember doing one on top 10 vampires in JRPGs. Nobody watched it, but it's there if you care to watch it. And I did one called precisely top 10 best JRPGs to play on Halloween, but that was like 5 years ago. It's also there if you want to watch it. But I don't have a personal favorite. It's not like, oh, it's Halloween, I'm gonna play a horror RPG or a horror game or anything like that, you know. No, I don't do that. What are some other book adaptations of RPGs you enjoyed a lot? Just this one, you know, this is the only book that I've read in my life that it's based on an RPG. I am not really into mangas, so I've never read a single manga. I've seen mangas online and pictures, you know, but I've never read a single manga based on an RPG. I know there's tons of them. I've seen some anime series based on RPGs, but books, this is my first one. How's the Twitch streaming going? It's okay, it's gonna be slow as hell. Thanks for bringing that up. By the way, guys, I came back to Twitch after 4 years of having abandoned the platform. I came back. Link in the description. There's also a link to my books. I'm not the only author I am promoting today. I'm also an author, so if you want to read my books, link in the description. They're all on Amazon, physical and digital. And some of them are pretty much not based, but inspired by Fire Emblem and Suikoden, like the Revenant Army and Terra Gaiden. The Revenant Army, I published the English translation on earlier this year, March, and it has sold fairly well, but no one has rated it, probably because people keep forgetting about rating the book, but it's there, don't worry. It's a good book, The Revenant Army, and then there's also Terra Gaiden. And there's other books that have nothing to do with RPGs, but they're kind of still anime inspired, so check them out, link in the description. And yeah, I came back to Twitch, and I've been streaming some random games lately. I'll be using Twitch mainly for that, to stream random games. Often you'll see me streaming some RPGs too, but also some other video game genres. So I'm only gonna stream on Twitch for now about 2 or 3 times a week. And it's gonna be random, but I'm gonna be there, subscribe if you can, if you want to, or just follow me if you want to get the notifications for when I'm live. Link in the description, and also link in my link in the description to my Patreon page. I have a private podcast. There's been 17 episodes so far. Last night I uploaded the 17th episode, and well, you can join in for $5 a month and listen to them all if you want to. Link in the description to my podcast. It's exclusive to Patreon. What recent hidden gem game you recently discovered? I think the last one was Undernauts, Labyrinth of Yomi, which I covered in my recent video about hidden gems, mature rated hidden JRPG gems from a couple of days ago. It's a good game. It's a dungeon crawler in first person. It's really challenging, and I'm like, not my type of RPG, but it's horror. It's a horror themed RPG, and there's a lot of horrible stuff in there, mature stuff, adult stuff in there. And I like how the art style, these are the same developers as Stranger of Sword City, where you can choose a variety of characters from different art styles, which is interesting, no other game is like it. And I like that, so yeah, that's my answer. Eric, you will for sure like the Berserk manga. Well, I'm a big fucking fan of the Berserk anime. All series, I know people hate the modern one, the last one, and I loved it. But yeah, I'm not really into mangas. Have you tried Astro Bot on your PS5? Yeah, I did, like everybody else. And it's a good game, but it's kind of frustrating. I hate the fact that you gotta use your controller. It uses all the functions of your controller, and I hate that, to move you around or to be like this, it's kind of annoying. Why can't I just click buttons and win? And it's pretty challenging, but it's a pretty good game. While most of the music is pretty good too, the soundtrack is definitely worth listening to, but I fucking hate the beach theme. I fucking hate it. I couldn't complete that stage just because of the music, but the rest of the soundtrack is amazing. Terra Gaiden is great. It needs a sequel. Thanks, Skycatcher. I don't know. I'm not really into sequels because I've learned from this channel that video sequels never come even. Most of them don't come even close in terms of success to the to parts one, to part ones. Yeah, but yeah, maybe one day, right? Speaking of remakes, do you think the term remake became oversaturated in video games in general? Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. We are currently living in the era of remakes and remasters. Everybody knows that, everything is being remade, everything is being remastered. I think I've said before that I personally believe that this is the developers and publishers, companies' way to encourage video game preservation, maybe by remaking and remastering and bringing back all those old classics, but I don't know. I think, like you say, it's very saturated, and the term itself is overrated, and it's just not gonna stop, Obviously, the main reason why companies are doing this is because of the money. I mean, they want money. They know they have something special, and they know there's a lot of nostalgia for it, and they want to capitalize on that. But it's also a good thing. I mean, it's a bit of a necessary evil, right? To bring back these games. So yeah, we are living in the era of remakes and remasters, people. And I'm not against it. I like it. Sure, it's oversaturated, but I dig it. I have a video game collection in the back, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you do. So I know I get questions about remakes and remasters often because I talk about remakes and remasters, and I often mention, oh, I hope this game gets remastered one day in my videos, right? And it's mostly because of you. I am fine with a lot of games that I have in my collection. I don't need them remastered, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you struggle playing those games either because they're expensive or because you just don't want to emulate. So the fact that all of these games are getting remastered is because people like you will be able to play them for the first time ever. And on the other hand, you know, I do want a lot of other RPGs remastered because they didn't age very well, and I would like to enjoy them again with recent graphics, with better graphics, you know, better controls, better camera, you know. So yeah, I'm pro remakes and remasters. Not too much, but pro. What's your hardest JRPG you've ever played? That's definitely Fire Emblem Thracia 776. Nothing comes even close, man. That is brutality. That is the poster child of brutally hard JRPGs. That's an insane game, man. It never came out of Japan, but it's been fan translated, and it's broken. The developers admitted the game is broken. They didn't test it properly, and they fucked up. And it ended up being an extremely unbalanced video game, man. And there's also a Tear Ring Saga, developed by the same guy, Shozo Kaga, the creator of Fire Emblem. That also never came out of Japan. It's on PS1. It's also a nightmare of a game, strategy RPG. Pretty similar to Fire Emblem. Fuck, man, that game. I love it, but Jesus Christ. It took me forever to finish. I reached quit a lot of times. Really hard. And yeah, what else comes close? Valkyrie Profile 2. I mean, I've done videos. I did a few videos called Top 10 Hardest JRPGs I've ever finished. 2 of them. You can find them here in this website. This lovely website. What do you think about Tear Ring Saga? Oh, there, I was just talking about it. Rondo of Swords. Rondo of Swords is also extremely fucking hard on the Nintendo DS. It was for me. There are ways around it because it's a grind fest, but it takes forever to gain a single level, and even grinding you die a lot. Yeah, it's a brutally hard game. Rondo of Swords, definitely one of the hardest. Anything by those guys, any fucking game by those guys, success. Because they are successfully hardcore. Rondo of Swords, Operation Darkness on the 360, Soulvars on modern consoles. Fucking brutally hard games, man. The Seventh Saga, that's a good one, man. Oh my god. Popful Mail. Shit. Crystal is pretty damn hard. What is your opinion that Best Buy, Target, and Walmart will no longer... I don't give a shit about that because, you know, I live in Mexico and Best Buy doesn't exist anymore in this country, and Walmart very rarely sells video games. What's your take on the rumors of a Tokyo Xanadu sequel? Okay. I never finished the first game because I got so tired of the idol bullshit and idol culture forced into it. So I probably won't care that much if it gets a sequel. I've said before that I don't give a shit about Yoshi P, so don't ask questions about that guy. I don't give a shit about him. Have you ever reached level 99 in any JRPG? Yes, in 3. Chrono Cross, Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria, and Final Fantasy VIII. And I don't want to talk about the latter. Do you think that Megami Tensei is not more popular due to its controversial themes? Probably, yeah. You know North America, right? You know it's half of its population is let alone woke. Forget about that. It's always been like this, you know, like very conservative and very well, I don't even know what word to use anymore. Stupidly oversensitive. They get offended by everything. it pisses me off because, you know, the USA is the most powerful country in the world, and they are the most sensitive. You know, everything bothers them. They complain about everything, and they live in fucking paradise. And as opposed to other countries, you know, and they complain about everything. They bitch about everything, and that's why the Shin Megami Tensei franchise is not that popular as it is in Japan, because of oversensitive people, because they can't take other types of religions or people questioning their religion or stuff like that on philosophical themes. Also why Xenogears is not that popular, even though it should be. But yeah. America! Xanadu had some of the best action RPG gameplay. Tokyo Xanadu? Yeah, it's a pretty good... Never mind. It's a pretty good game, but the story, I mean, kind of like... How would you say Final Fantasy series? I think it's dead. I think there's no saving it. Something extraordinary will need to happen. Something extraordinary. What action RPGs give that Phantasy Star portable feel in terms of the million number go up stats and dungeon crawl gameplay? That's an interesting question. Thanks for the donation, man. I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, you're asking the wrong guy, seriously, because I'm not that type of gamer who breaks games and gets a million stats and exploits everything and puts 10,000 hours into RPGs. I'm not that guy, so I have no idea what you're talking about. In terms of the million number go up stats, I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Sorry. Do you think JRPGs are becoming politicized? Slowly? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, definitely nowhere near as politicized as Netflix series or Amazon series, you know, or movies nowadays. Definitely not even close. Or a lot of AAA games, for example, but I've seen a few examples already over the past few years, but it's rare. It's pretty rare. But yeah, it seems to be that, like, little by little, I mean, we're starting to see that, but it's been very slow. Have you played the Mercenary Wings? No, I played the original games, the Mercenary Saga trilogy, which is on 3DS and Switch. The first one isn't on 3DS, only on Switch, but 2 and 3, which are the ones I played, are on the 3DS and the Switch. They're good games, you know, they're kind of slow. I mean, the pacing is great because they're easy games, but in terms of storytelling, they're kind of generic until the end. In the end, near the end is when they actually get a little bit good, you know, but they're okay, they're nothing special. But Mercenaries Wings, I haven't played it. Okay, just action RPGs based around collecting stuff. With that sci-fi dungeon crawl. Well, obviously you've tried the other Phantasy Star games, right? Phantasy Star Universe 1 and 2. Action RPGs are science fiction, and, you know, where the dungeons are like that, they're kind of like long, and the missions are long. I can't think of any right now. I mean, there's gotta be, you know. Fuck, I need to look at my collection right now. Let's see. Yeah. You're looking for something modern, right? I mean, what if I recommend some PS1 games that are stupidly expensive or obscure as hell? Yeah. There aren't many, you know, I can tell you some science fiction games out there that are like that, but they're not action RPGs. Yeah. Freedom Wars, maybe somebody says Freedom Wars. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, Freedom Wars is like God Eater. These guys looking for dungeon crawler, like the dungeons are long, you know, and the Freedom Wars and God Eater are more about killing the bosses and that's it. Sure, you can exploit the gameplay mechanics and grind like crazy and whatnot, and you collect stuff. I mean, you basically, in God Eater, for example, you basically need to collect stuff, materials to upgrade your weapons. which is a pain in the fucking ass, man. I wish there was a normal leveling system in God Eater, but there isn't, you know. It's just grind a lot and not for experience points, because you get no experience. All you get is materials to upgrade your fucking weapons. I love God Eater, but I hate that mechanic. Maybe some of the Tales games, they aren't 100% science fiction, but some of the dungeons can be fairly long. Some of the Tales games, you know, they're maybe nothing like it, you know. I'm not looking forward to playing. I'm not really interested in AAA games. I'm very rarely interested in AAA games. What would you rather play? Boyfriend Dungeon or Time and Eternity? Unfortunately, I don't know Boyfriend Dungeon. I've never heard about it. But it's gotta be better than Time and Eternity. Rogue Galaxy. Star Ocean. You know what? Inane Dreams? Rogue Galaxy might be right up your alley. Star Ocean, maybe not really, because the dungeons aren't that long and they are in collectathons, you know, not really. Well, maybe they are, because you gotta find materials for the item creation. Maybe Star Ocean, maybe. But I think Rogue Galaxy fits more your criteria. The dungeons, it's a science fiction action RPG and the dungeons are long as fuck, man. And you do gather a lot of materials and collect things because of there's also kind of like a weapon creation system. And if you look up a walkthrough or a guide or tips about it, you can break the game. Because Rogue Galaxy is a stupidly hard game, man. But there are ways around it, there are ways to break it and to make it easier. So yeah, Rogue Galaxy. Team Colhane, thanks a lot, man. Says, I hired DSP, aka Philly Burnell. He's a man. Thanks. Who's Philly Burnell? What happened? What went wrong with Time and Eternity? What went wrong? Everything. The storytelling was weak. The characters were dumb as fuck. It was supposed to be a comedy. It's not even funny. And the interface destroys everything. You know how, even from the menus, from the dialogue menus, you know, the controls, how the game works. It's bad. It's bad. The music is forgettable at best. The graphics are okay for a PS3 game, but they're kind of low budget, but that's okay. It's Imagi, developed by Imagi Puck. So, yeah, they are in a AAA studio, obviously. And the gameplay mechanics are terrible because all the time you get to follow this girl from behind. And the camera isn't fixed, you know, but it's kind of like weird. I remember it was weird. It wasn't that troublesome, but it was weird. And the battle mechanics are garbage. I mean, they hurt your eyes, man. You gotta shoot, and the camera does this, you know, dun 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 dun. Fuck, man. You know, it's tiresome. You get tired pretty quickly. And my story about getting a headache is true because of that. You know, I got a headache just by staring at the battle system. You know, it's horrible. It's a really bad game, man.